I believe that Ghanaians should demand of the NPP that if they don't produce Ken Ofori-Atta in this country, they should never come before them asking for power again. This is a house of debate. No. Since when did anybody become afraid of him? Mr. Speaker, I need to know. He's raised serious issues against somebody who is not here.
Respectfully.
If there's anybody to prosecute, you know what is happening to the Met at board. The IMF has reported 9 billion cedis. Is there any prosecution? That is not mismanagement. Mr. Speaker, we are ready any day. They should bring it on.
Ebusia, and someone with you. A question was for Parliament. Parliament wo boba and boba apim. Na and someone with you better manning your ensuro. That is why we are here. We are here to give you an update. The best be a Parliament bian. Ya the bebro. Now when him say Parliament House and honorable majority leader and the minority leader at the Akopim. I Smart Africa Media. Kindly subscribe to our YouTube channel. Obaswana, what like it, or subscribe and was saying I share to the people out there. Now, conversation was about education. How we going to better our education, because after another the free SHS the conversation itself was about how to better our education. And one the minority leader or the same majority leader, Mahama sorry, and the word didn't come and tinkomodi them no what I say. Your education dear, your baby ye, and he was right from the onset. What be you know, and what I say. 1-3-3 shift to say one job with 3-3 shift to say the end. One more bayan and kakran ye viti preocupe. And yet, yatias ye. What be so from no, and the workers a nemum. Ye be but Munkofa Keno for Tambra. And mind you say, breaking news about Tobia and Ra. And it's like Keno has been able to secure a US resident. Yeah, one kasa was secure what US war or Panwoba or Pawoma. Na NPP form kofa Kenofurata and Fanamra. Na Sikabia, what in town de Cotio, take us on Sikabia Wafa. At the Janadia Cotina America home. One first has Canamra. No move for being so. No move for ye, 1-3-3, 1 day shift. And what about the team common bra? Team common brand or buy and half your Markins, Debbie, what did you ibra?
Speaker, the majority leader, I haven't seen him for a couple of days now. I know that lately he tries to provoke me. However hard I try to ignore him, it still will provoke me. But Mr. Speaker, I won't be provoked. In Ghana today, we all know the challenges. The government has become very anemic because the finance minister, the finance ministry and the agri ministry, we don't know which ministry is telling the truth. Minister, they say they've released.
Leader,
the
don't
other
be provoked. Don't be provoked.
No, Mr. Speaker, I won't be. Mr. Speaker, I won't be. Mr. Speaker, I won't be. A government that has become anemic, the center is not holding. They have not been able to implement their 1 job 3 shifts. The women banking, we are not hearing anything. So if the majority leader wants us to start some leadership debate on core national issues, Mr. Speaker, I want you to give him 30 minutes. Give him 30 minutes. Give him 30 minutes. Mr. Speaker, I rest my case.
Mr. Speaker, I won't take 30 minutes, except to say that the statement made, even though I wasn't here, but just listening to colleagues and their comments gives me an idea of the key issue that underpinned the statement. And I believe that is technical and vocational education. And listening to my colleague, the minority leader, I think that he's saying something that I've said over and over for so many years now, from my days as a deputy minister for education. And I was partially overseeing the technical and vocational sector. I think that as a country, we need to fundamentally overhaul our system of education. Fundamentally. The problem of technical and vocational education is that it is effective but costly. Very, very costly. Technical education is far, far more costly than grammar-related education. The reason why I say it's far more costly is that to really learn something that is a hands-on thing, there's a lot of consumables involved, a lot of machines involved, and the state has not been effectively supporting that. So even the technical school that you went, I'm sure you would have noticed from your experience in Singapore and other countries how deficient the training in Ghana was. You must have been just a very smart and bright person to pick it up in terms of the skills based on the training that you undergo here or you underwent in Ghana. And so we need to fundamentally rethink technical and vocational education. Leaders in the past have spoken extensively about the Austrian model. But the Austrian model is one of the best mechanisms for technical and vocational education. Indeed, Mr. Speaker, the truth of the matter is that technical and vocational education is actually taking place in Ghana, except that it is taking place in the informal setting and not the state setting. Many of you in this chamber, I believe, have built your homes. You've used masons, you've used carpenters, you've used electricians. All those people that you have used are people who went through technical training to acquire those skills. But they didn't acquire it in schools. They acquired it by learning from practitioners as apprentices. So technical and vocational education does well when being taught through an apprentice system. But we have captured it, put it in a school called technical school, and yet we don't resource them to be able to actually be effective trainers of the children. And so we need to move it out of the schools into the workplace. And in Austria, you find out that every factory tends to have a technical school by it. And children are exposed to technical education from infancy. They grow up along those lines. It is when you get to a certain level that they now give you an option of choosing whether you should go to grammar-related schools or you should remain along the technical track. And even there, the state specifically skews things in favor of going through the technical education track. And very few people get to do grammar because when you really look at the workforce in a country, you find out that the population that is applying, technical and vocational skills is far, far higher than the schools that are related, are applying, let's say, the social sciences. And so you need to, as a country, look at your population and tactically say that we will only permit 10%, 20% to do grammar-related programs, and the rest of the 80% will go into technical and vocational education program. In Austria is a living example of it. And in times in Europe where you find huge unemployment figures, when you go to a country like Austria, you find out that their unemployment figures are very, very low. Because everybody is feeding off from just applying their own skills, and etc. So as a country, we need to look at that and take a strategic decision. Otherwise, we will keep talking about it, but never really do it. So I will want to commend the maker of the statement. And I also think that this parliament perhaps should create a setting, maybe some inquiry into why we are not doing well in the area of technical and vocational education, so that we can conduct some extensive review of what is happening in the country, study other jurisdictions, and as a parliament give some clear direction to the country in terms of how we should proceed. I also believe that we must pay attention to the budgeting process and how much money we approve for technical and vocational education. If we are really committed to it, then we need to spend it. But we don't just put money into it. We need to look at the ecosystem in which technical and vocational education happens and find a way of making sure that we build a stronger nexus between the private sector and technical and vocational education schooling, so that the private sector can bring the market opportunity, the learning opportunity that their workshops, their businesses provide for greater practical learning by children. And then the state can also support them with regulations, with standard setting, and then with some level of financing in order that the system will work to produce really skillful workforce for the country. So Mr. Speaker, I think that the statements and the comments made are commendable. It provides some direction. The question really has always been how to carry forward the conversation. Very often we remain at the level of conversation and never taking actual practical steps. Let me conclude on the note that the country clearly is doing very well. The good thing is that looks like the issues in Iran and the Middle East and the war with the US will soon be coming to an end. Government has done everything within its means to hold the price of petroleum products and etc. Something that could not have been done by some people. And as for the 1 week 3 shifts, as for the 1 week 3 shifts, as for the 1 week 3 shifts, I can assure you that gradually we will get there. It doesn't happen in one day. It's a process, and we will get there. I believe that in the not too distant future, when the economy has been stabilized, if you are able to get the former finance minister Ken Ofori-Atta to come back to Ghana and account for all that he has taken out of the country. Why? You even promised to bring Ken Ofori-Atta to this country. You promised us in this chamber that you will bring Ken Ofori-Atta to Ghana. You promised us. We didn't ask you, but you promised us that you bring Ken Ofori-Atta. Now we are told that he has obtained permanent residency in the United States. A former finance minister running away from his country. And you sit there and you want to complain about a government that is just 1.5 years in office, fixing the mess of people like that. Mr. Speaker, as for the issue of partisanship in our conversations, I honestly don't think that partisan conversations are the problem in this country. It's about
Leader. Yes.
Ankomo wey course we ya no na honorable Afenyo Markin osahin minority leader e ka se hwe woni wan because ankomo no wudi no nkomo ne se me sorry na me kasa wo be kanta na since when na wo ye sha se yesuro ho na kofa ankomo no since when na wo no ye sha se yesuro ya yakrado mopa momfa debate ne mra na de akoso gold board ho no 9 billion sikasambi modia mombo mra momfa mra say ye hwa modia monkeka mra mombu mopamra na ye de behia mo de akoso corruption akoso e gold board ho modi agro ye wo evidences na mobete modwe wo we ye patapa mobete nsam na modi agro Ghana for be hunu mo true character. Ya mo de ti aban mu. Ya ye din ne yen kasa. Adenti na nipa woni ha. Wo bie wano ekase wo wi ade enti yen kofa ne mra. Ebusua dibre ne ti.
Mr. Speaker, I will never be provoked. But, Mr. Speaker, it is becoming one too many that the majority leader has made Ken Ofori-Atta his target. Speaker, with respect, my respected senior at the bar knows that a man must be heard, and that even if all men find a man's hand in a tail, his guilt must be proven. He knows that as a matter of law. You cannot bring Ken Ofori-Atta's name here when the man is not here to defend himself and make serious allegations against him. Mr. Speaker, the majority leader himself is part of the governance of this country. How would he feel if this is said about him when he does not have the right to respond? If you come and say all that Ken Ofori-Atta has taken away, what has he taken away? What has he taken away? He is a human being like you, a citizen like you. He also has children. He has his family. Be fair. Mr. Speaker, the majority leader, Honorable Mahama must be fair. It is not his first. He supervised the embarrassment of Ken Ofori-Atta when they brought placards in this chamber by his side. Mr. Speaker, please and please again to the majority leader, if he has no answer to the economy that is struggling, and when we say economy is struggling, we're talking about the jobs that they have failed to create, he should answer those specific questions and stop the blame game and stop making people targets. He is not here to answer. You failed to create jobs. Electricity tariffs have gone up. You promised to reduce tariffs. Agric ministry, nothing is being done for the agric ministry. Farmers are complaining in Boko, in Tamale, in Yendi. So deal with those ones. You are in government. As for Ken Ofori-Atta, if you think that you have all your evidence and you have evidence of anything done, the court is yours. You have removed Tokonu, so you removed all the judges that you think are fair. You have transferred them to wherever you want to take them to. Is that not what you've done? So you have the court, you have control of the court. Go ahead. Who has stopped you? But don't use this parliament to launch an attack on Ken Ofori-Atta. He came to serve. If you have any issues with his service, deal with it. Enough. Mr. Speaker, I rest my case.
Mr. Speaker, I am quite surprised that a man who served as finance minister for nearly 7 years, if not more, will run and leave the country even before a handover takes place. And when he is served to appear in court, he refuses and continues to use ill health as a grounds. If he has nothing to fear, he should man up and come back to this country and come and defend himself. Mr. Speaker, go to Liberia. Go to Liberia. The former finance minister when they left office, the finance minister was charged before the courts. He was in the US. The former finance minister of of Liberia, left the US and came back, entered appearance, and is defending himself before the courts. Mr. Speaker, when you are a former finance minister and you run out of the country, you don't want to come back to the country, huge debts, phenomenal mismanagement of the economy of the country, mismanage inflation, mismanage the banking sector, mismanage almost every sector of the economy of the country. And you run to the United States and you go and seek permanent residence there. Permanent residence there. I believe that Ghanaians should demand of the NPP that if they don't produce kind of Oriata in this country, they should never come before them asking for power again. Ghanaians must demand of the NPP, because you presented him to this parliament as your nominee for a finance minister, and we approved him as a nominee for finance minister and gave him our economy to manage, and he mismanaged it and ran away. And you want to go back to Ghanaians and ask Ghanaians to give you power again, so that you will bring another kind of Oriata to mismanage the economy and run to Europe. That's what you want to do. And Ghanaians must be asking MPP not to even appear before them to ask for power unless they have brought Ken Ofori-Atta back to this country. That's what I think should happen. We must have principles.
I don't know that we were commenting on a harmless statement made by Zuria. Harmless statement. And as we know, statements should not endanger debate. But look at the debate that is now ensuing. So, leader, I beg of you.
Mr. Speaker, we are in your hands. Well, we've done more than 5 hours.
Yes,
If he speaks, I will respond again. Because I started with a joke about time. Because when I was about to conclude the commentary, the honorable colleague pleaded with me that he was trained through the technical vocational education program. So I should give him the opportunity. So I gave him the opportunity, but I noticed that he spoke for just a very short period. So I wanted to utilize the time. So when I got up, I was joking about the time. He got up and started talking about the economy. He got up and started talking about ministers of state. He got up and started trying to embarrass government by making references to issues between the finance minister and minister of agri. He started it.
Well.
So when you live in a glass house, you don't throw stones. You don't throw stones when you live in a glass house. You will mismanage the economy. So today, don't come and be telling people about the mismanagement of the economy. Ghanaians saw everything. So, Mr. Speaker, if he talks, I will respond.
So leader.
Yeah, Mr. Speaker, this is a house of debate.
No.
Since when did anybody become afraid of him? Mr. Speaker, I need to know. He's raised serious issues against somebody who is not here.
Leader, respectfully.
If there's anybody to prosecute, you know what is happening to the Met at Gold Board. The IMF has reported 9 billion cedis. Is there any prosecution? That is not mismanagement. Mr. Speaker, we are ready any day. They should bring it on. We would face them. We have every single corruption issue in this government. What has happened?
Thank you.
To the big push.
I have
Mr. Speaker, he should bring it on.
Here since afternoon.
He should bring it on. The majority leader.
You should.
And we'll see who will be bruised.
Leader, you should have mercy on me. Honorable members, let me thank you for the day. We have brought proceedings to a close, and what?
Speaker, just a request from the Defense and Interior Committee in reference to the Parole LI that they should be joined for its consideration. So just bringing that to your attention.
We referred it to subsidiary legislation.
Yes, but they are asking that they should be joined.
Well, the leadership can join, not the entire committee.
Just the leadership.
Well.
Thank you.
Good. So, honorable members, once again, let me thank you for your cooperation. We have done enough for the day. We are bringing proceedings to a close.
Ankomo we, ankomo aon. Se wo di nkomo we na se wan you very careful. Wan hwa na wano akopa. Because kano for ya tamra. Wo meyi ni ho ano. NDC force wo wie sika or the call. But the question is, Maslok mami, sadinam tamakulu. Sanya US aban ene e ka kire ne se wonmra me pacho nkan dis be fa na ba na oh sanya US aban ne opia ne tiko ka kire se ko ne ko face ne ko face pacho nkan dis fa ready se nkom de maame ne be ono kura de agele 10 years ya ka wo so wo ba no wo betete ankom de maame ne ade no ebia so obi ntuma mu me nka se de kenofurata ya ne yo me nka se de NPP fo ya ne yo but before amo no mo be ka obi de mo nkofa ne mra mo na mo ba na mo se ye ba e be kwa kofa na ba enti mo nkofa ne mra maslok mami se ye US ya ban na opia de tiko se ko na ye nkobu atan ko na kwaje watemwo ko na kwaje wasotwea pato anka mami no anka wa ready so be ba because ye prosecute no a ye man no sa 10 years no etwam 1 year o enti se nya ban bi na opia de tiko se ko na kwaje wasotwea anka mo ye krado se mo de mami ne be ba Debi, kamunye krado. US abayin ne pia mamle tiko no wode naba. Ade na mo de na nka mu jai na kenofurata de yankofa ne mra. Mo na mo hye Ghana me se. Hey, se kenofurata bedu Ghana ne. Question na wose mo busa ne bia mo mbusa no. Dia mo pese mo busa ne bia mo mbusa no. But the sub ni pa na kwatena na bro chire. Sade na mtema kulo kwatena na bro chire even NPP abayin so kura omu jeli no a ono wamba NPP aban ntimi ankofa no saa na mo nso nye saa mo nso mo feel say NPP nkofa no mra ade na mo de NPP nkofa no mra pato me kom wate ase ade na den time a sedi na mtama kloti abrochira ya jeli ni se wo mra magina so twea wo mma no NPP e wo tumi a nkom kofa no bai enti mo president NPP nkofa kenofurata mra no ade na mo de mo ntimi ankofa na ma enti se US na de ma me ba yanka mo ya kra so mo de be ba na afa ma kan hwe o sense one ya sha se yesuru enkom wo fie ha mudi agro ye be bi so ebusu de ekoso e Parliament House me see ade o mo de ya no Parliament House wo ensem wa sha de kemu a omkohie mu a na ebusu o makata so no enkom a ekoso Parliament omkohie mu a na o makata bi so no enya nkomo keto o but between NPP and NDC amanka so mo yesi o san krofo na nka so mo yesi ya tietira na ye kontokwa tietira na ye ko abuzia yango comment section ne konkodi nkomo na aha Smart Africa Media and the Ghana wo match mesrawo etwa fufuo ni ma wa endi why ye de fufuo ni si wa mendi twan na ye mbobo ni wie wo akokuduro nti twan na ye mbobo ni wie and mame hu prediction no comment section me did say ye 3-1 ha pepepe ana 3-0 ye mbro 3 ha nti wadawruma yanko na yanko nkudi nkomo comment section me din bi oduma nkomo ba na ko fufu masante bi makro